Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my brothers, fathers, and grandfathers, and spiritual leaders as well. Thank you so much for this time. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Adam's question on what it means to be a man, what manhood is, what fatherhood is, why are these things important. As you can tell, I'm young, I'm 23 years old. I don't have much life experience, but I do have some things to share from what I have experienced. I am a son, so this hits home. I am also a brother. I am an older brother, a younger brother. I'm the middle brother, so I get all the mix in between. I also am a fiance, soon to be married, so a husband to be soon. I don't know much about fatherhood from my experience, but I do have experience. I have experienced fatherhood from my father, who is present, and also I have other things in our community and churches that have impacted me in my walk as a man. So I would like to share that with you guys. First things first, I always look to scripture to truly answer most of the troubling questions that I have. And this one, like I said, it hits home because of all these experiences and all these things that I have went through. So I go back to scripture because my truth is founded and established on scripture and nothing else from the world or anything. That could be an additional help to me, I know for sure, but first I go to scripture, and that lights the path for me. And I go to Genesis to see Adam, and I also see the second Adam in the Gospels and what he has done. So in Genesis, we see that Adam had a work to do, a will to fulfill, and commandments to keep. And of course, Adam does not lead in the right example, and we see the mess that we are in right now. But then also comes the second Adam, the one that frees us from the slavery of sin. And he does fulfill the will of the Father, and he does work that needed to be done, and he does keep the commandments. And I see, why was it that Jesus was successful, and why is it that Jesus is a man that is an example to all of us? And I see his leadership style. I will focus at least more on the leadership aspect. He was a servant leader. He said the Son of Man did not come to be served, but rather to serve, and even to the point of death. And I was baffled, and I was like, what is it that is so important about servant leadership? Because again, I have been fed from the world a lot of things about what a man is supposed to be. A man is supposed to be strong, which is good, nothing wrong with being strong. A man is supposed to have a sexual prowess, meaning he is supposed to get as many women as he wants to, or he should get more money, he should be hustling all the time. Now, having money is nothing wrong, but loving the money is where the root of all evil is. And then there's also the aspect of drugs and drinking and partying all night and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, there's something wrong. There's a mismatch here. Jesus did not come here to serve himself or his desires, but he rather put others before him. And that's what a leader does. A leader puts out the best in everyone that is around him. And I said, okay, so Jesus did this very well. How did he do it? He did it by washing his disciples' feet, which reminds me also about my father. When he comes home from a long shift at work, sometimes longer than my mom, they both get home, and my dad wants to show and display his love. Sometimes he'll get her and he'll tell her, hey, let me wash your feet today and tell me about how your day's going. And he sits there. We know, my mom definitely knows that he's tired and he wants to go to bed as soon as he can, but he wants to spend that time. And he's showing her that he loves her, and he's leading us by showing us an example right in front of our eyes. So it shows us the love. And we also imitate our dad by washing her feet or asking her, what do you need, And these things are shown at home for me. Also in the community, at church especially. I spent most of my time in church, so Dr. Adam was, I'll give a great example because he proposed this question. He used to lead us when we were young children, maybe like 13, 12. So that's about a decade ago. He used to take care of us in our foundation class by teaching salvation class, basically teaching us the foundation of Christianity. And we didn't think much of it back then, but as we were growing up, we were seeing him, his children, how he loved them, his wife, how he loved her, how she was involved in ministry. And we were like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I want a faithful life like that as well, that's committed to God. And he didn't do it by exerting his power. He showed us by living it as an example. So I do have these father figures within my life as well. And I also have my brother figures as well. Athne is a great one. He's my mentor. Choye, Ray are great examples for me that I see also. But all these people, one thing they did that they have in common is that they said others before me. They looked at the other people before they looked at themselves. But this culture shows us I before we, and it's such a mismatch. So I'm glad that they have done this, and that's what has shown me how to be a man, especially within this time in society. And another one about fatherhood is it's disregarded in this time and age. It's looking like more single motherhood. The family is being praised, and fathers are being secluded, or they're being shoved to the corner, not being seen as important. But the truth is far from it, because the fathers are very important, especially in setting boundaries, which is why we see a lot of wedlock, children out of wedlock. That's why we see young boys in jail more than ever before, and that's why we see more violence in this world, because the boundaries are not being set in that family, and there's no man leading by example. So if you ask me what a man is, it's one that leads by example, the same way that Jesus did. I hope to learn more from you all, and I'm still young, but I want to be experienced as I go forth. So I just want to say thank you for this time. Thank you for Dr. Adam and your vision as well. God bless you. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time this is. Ciao.